What's up, family? Welcome here live on Facebook and Instagram. And felt inspired this morning to just hop on here and do an Ask Me Anything. So this is going to be just questions and answers. So if you can see me on Facebook, I don't know what the live thing now does on Facebook, but I can't see if anyone's watching or if anyone's even here. So if you can see me on Facebook, drop a comment. If you're over here on Insta, I'd love for you to type in where you're tuning in from. And if you have a question, you can toss it in the question box here, or you can type it in the comments. And I'll be on here for maybe 30 minutes. And would love to hear what is alive for y'all, questions or on anything. Had an amazing weekend here in Bali, Indonesia. Feeling very blessed. And it is Monday today, so yeah, here we go. What's up, Logan? Saw the Wizard Factory's back, Logan. That's what's up. Glad you're back in the saddle with that. Epic stuff. Got NYC representing over here on Insta. Where else is everybody? Where are you in the world? And Facebook has really added a bunch of new stuff to their live manager here on old desktop view. So it's weird, I can't see who's watching. I have to like scroll down into this stuff. But I see you're on here, Dad. Love you. Yeah, it's late over there, huh? It's 11 a.m. here in Bali. So let's get some questions flowing. We got some folks in Utah. We got California in the house. We got New York in the house. We got Orlando in the house. What's up, y'all? Drop a comment in here. Nothing's off limits. Share whatever you want. Got New Zealand in the house, Sunshine Coast, BC. That's what's up. All right, so the Circle WA says, what are your take on David Data's work? Do you like the foundation that it sets? How about John Wineland? Yeah, I'm a huge fan and proponent of both of their work, right? For those that don't know, David Data is kind of the grandfather of, bringing polarity in a lot of the relationship work to the West in a very streamlined way. Obviously there's people before him, but he really was the OG. I recommend everyone read Way to Superior Man. I would recommend you read Dear Lover. He has many, many, many other books, and he's amazing. I love the foundation that it sets, to answer your question. And John Wineland is kind of his protege, his main student. And his work is also really amazing. And I'm actually going to interview John Wineland live coming up here probably in about a month. Just kind of getting scheduled here between Asia and America. So look forward to that. I'm going to interview John Wineland all about his perspective on masculine and feminine dynamics and polarity, which I think is one of the best things you could possibly study, not just for dating, but for everything, for business, for mindset, for personal development, for your body, for navigating the world right now and all the people that are triggered and upset and, just acting a fool in this world, And it's funny, since I started posting exclusively about relationship work, right? I'm really committed for the next months to go all in. This first program I'm doing, Primal Polarity, which actually starts in 4 days, is just the beginning. Really, it's going to be something I'm focusing on more and more and more. And since doing that, since niching a little bit and being very direct and posting more and more about this, I have never seen so many trolls on my accounts. People talking shit, people saying just the most vile, ridiculous things that you would never say to someone to their face. And I guarantee you, none of these people would, if they met me in person, even if they had strong opinions about me, they would never say any of this shit to my face. But they feel safe in these comment sections, typing the most outrageous, vile garbage and dumping it in my digital lawn, right? It's crazy. I've even had people accuse me of copying their teachings and just all kinds of crazy shit. And for me, I see this, not getting sucked into it, holding compassion, holding awareness around where people are at, not trying to be understood, trying to just understand what these people are communicating. And what it is really natural law, and polarity itself can be very polarizing, obviously. When you really take a stand for something, and I want all you content creators, coaches, healers, consultants to hear this, business people, entrepreneurs, when you really take a stand for something and you go all in on something, you will get pushback. And if you're not getting haters, they don't have to be like hatred based, but people challenging you, you're not going far enough. And I've learned this time and time again. There's seasons in my content where I kind of took a back seat, was playing more on Web3 and crypto and just kind of posting, pretty non-controversial stuff. People are like, yeah, and just, it's all good. As soon as you take a stand and start to share direct experience and you start to share more powerful information that can be a little triggering, people come out of the woodwork and lose their shit. So this is a KPI in my world, which is a key performance indicator. It means you're striking gold. You're striking a vein, because there are always going to be people, no matter what you do or say, that are going to disagree with you. And that's okay. I'm not interested in those people. I'm interested in the people that I can add value to, and I can change their lives and invite them into my work, my allies' work, my colleagues, etc. I don't care, and I don't spend time entertaining these people, even though, they show up in my sphere. What they're doing is they're showing me that I'm over the target. You've heard this idea. When you start getting flack and people start taking their shot at you, guess what? You're over the target, right? They're not going to shoot their shot and talk shit if you're not talking about something real, because it's touching something. So just remember that. This is a big one. So welcome everybody joining. Type in the comments if you have a question. I'm just going to be ranting and riffing here. And I don't know if I'm going to save this or not. This might just be for y'all. I may not save this one. Logan, curious what inspired you to focus so primarily on polarity recently. I've been studying into this stuff pretty heavily again since May. This is what's funny. I've been coaching for, professionally, officially for 7 years, but I was coaching and teaching yoga and breath work and personal training before that, and basically coaching. So really more like 8 or 9 years. And in the background of my work this whole time, I've worked with couples, I've worked with singles, I've worked with people that are getting married, people that are getting divorced. Literally, people that are just about to get married and people that are just getting divorced. And it's always been there in the background, because this is one of my core wounds. This is one of my biggest stories in my life, was overcoming infidelity and lack of success and confusion around dating. And specifically in the modern world, where a lot of boss babes and sensitive men are running around, a lot of polarity inversion, a lot of confusion. So that's why I decided to go all into it. And I'm actually practicing what I preach. I help business clients, I help people build their business also. And what I've noticed is a lot of people, they try to talk to everyone, and I was guilty of this in the past. I tried to talk to everyone, right? My message was so general, I could just talk to everyone. And this doesn't work, specifically if you want to sign paying clients or offer a, education product, a course, a workshop, a retreat, a program, whatever. You need to niche. That's why they say the niches are in the riches. So I'm taking my own medicine, Logan, and niching in polarity. Until the end of the year right now is my commitment. So I started in June. It's a 6-month experiment. I may pivot and switch after that. Because what I've realized is that this is a very powerful niche, relationships. Everybody wants to be in love. Everybody wants to have great sex. Everybody wants to be getting their needs met in an intimacy. And a lot of people think that they can just kind of, leave that up to the universe. If they wanted to lose weight, they go hire a personal trainer. If they want to make money, they go hire a business coach. But I'm encountering a lot of folks that think in relationships, it's like, just trust yourself, just learn about yourself, and you'll just manifest love. Meanwhile, a lot of these people are single, and a lot of these people are in toxic or codependent relationships that they actually know aren't serving them. So I'm seeing that there's a huge gap in the space for embodied relationship work, right? And I come from a background of Tantra and gone deeply into that, mainly the philosophy and also the bioenergetic side through Osho. I also come from this tradition of Data Wineland and Esther Perel and a lot of these deep thinkers on the modern relationship struggles, right? And polarity is a big part of this. So that's why I'm been getting more into this and becoming forward facing with it. I've always been doing this stuff in the background, but now I'm actually ready to bring it forward and share it more and really go all in with it. And so if you've been seeing that, I have a free group, the Polarity Dojo, which you can join at the link in my bio here. It's over on Facebook. And what I'm realizing is that a lot of people don't understand how to date or don't understand how to work with masculine and feminine energy, which is exciting to me because that means there's a lot of room for growth, improvement, theory, questions. I don't have this stuff figured out. I'm studying this and applying it in my own life, in my own relationship, and with clients in real time. And now I'm realizing I'm being called to share this out more, to put this stuff out there more, and be much more forward-facing with this, much more in the open, and sharing in real time. And so that's why you're going to see me post about this more and more and more. So yeah, grateful everyone's here over on Instagram. I see some amazing people in the house. Elysium Artistry says, tips on healing heartbreak when you're in the same community. Yeah, this one's tough. I've been in this situation myself. I'm sure you can relate. When you're in the same community and you're going through a breakup or heartbreak, you need to take space. That's the first thing. If you're always around the person, if you're always, seeing this person in community, it's going to be really hard to let the healing journey unfold, right, in a good way, because, this person was a part of your life. And so it can be really hard if you're seeing them all the time and getting those wounds reopened. If you have mutual friends, right? You have circles that you share. You need to take space. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to challenge you lovingly and build you up and help you heal and support you. You need to get away from toxic people that want to attach to the drama, of the end of your relationship, whatever that means. My good buddy Adam Roa, who many of you will know, he's actually launching a course right now, and I know some other people that are doing this, all around how to break up well, right? The art of breaking up. It's huge. We've all been there. We've all felt it, and I'm sure you can relate. It can be very, very, very challenging. So take space, take time to heal. Don't jump into another relationship. Don't force your way into, another dynamic that's going to repeat trauma. Take time to heal, take time to integrate the lessons from that relationship before you move on. And don't rush it. Grief is a process. You got to sit with it. Lauren Hem says, is being friends after a breakup actually possible? That's going to depend on you and the other person. Or is it a block in bringing in the relationship you truly desire? Would love to hear your perspective. Yeah, I think obviously you can be friends after a breakup, especially if you're both mature and emotionally available for that and you have agreements around it and you've gone through this process, ideally separately and then maybe together, of uncoupling, of becoming more sovereign and moving through what caused the breakup in the first place. But yeah, if you try to force being friends too soon, and there's not shared reality and agreement on what that looks like, it can be a block. Because if you want to be dating again and in an actual healthy, supportive relationship, how are you going to do that when you're still connected to this person and spending a lot of time with them and, reopening old wounds? So that one's going to be very person specific. But again, it goes back to what I was sharing earlier. You need to take time and move through your feelings and get back in your center before you try to rush in and become friends with them, right? And obviously this helps if you have a strong community, right? If you have a strong community and you're feeling very supported by it, you can do that, right? You can actually go in and repattern that relationship to become healthy, whole, back in the dynamic, right? So that's a big one. Keep your questions coming. I would love to hear other questions from folks about anything: relationships, business, entrepreneurship, lifestyle, etc. So over on Facebook, David says, most of us, especially men, need to open up to the distortion around polarity. Kudos to you. Yeah, thank you, brother. I think you're in our group. We have a free group called the Polarity Dojo, which you can find here in the comments, link in my bio, where we go deep into this stuff. And there's tons of resources in there, free recordings of our master classes. We're actually doing another master class tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Time. So it's going to be our last one that's free. It's a free workshop. It's number 6 in the series of Primal Polarity. So I'd love for you to come. We got 50 people already signed up. There's only 100 spots, so I'd welcome you to come to that. And yeah, there is a lot of distortion around polarity, especially for men. The masculine side of relationships has been heavily distorted because there is a war on masculinity. The mainstream culture wants you eating bugs, it wants you low testosterone, it wants you confused and not creating healthy, sustainable, long-term relationships that are going to build families, communities, and sovereignty, right? They want you casually dating and replacing partners with dating apps or on porn and GMOs and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know who wants that, but that's what you can see with the actions that are out there, which is quite disturbing. So for a lot of men, it's time to actually take back responsibility of what you're creating in your relationships. This is huge. Emily, hello, I read your name and I felt a strong connection and think you might need a reading. What's your zodiac sign? Are you a bot? Because that seems like a bot message, especially with all those emojis. Guess my zodiac sign. Starts with a V. I hope that's a real person and not a bot, but thanks for asking. Annie Hutchings, thanks you for the commitment to this topic. It's so needed for myself and many others. Totally. I mean, this is a topic we all deal with. Not everyone's going to become a famous artist. Not everyone's going to be a millionaire CEO, but everyone will fall in love. Everyone will be in a relationship in their life. Most people, right? Unless you're a monk or a nun. So you got to study this stuff and ignore it at your peril if you want to be in a grounded relational dynamic, right? Solar Feminine Arts, what's up, Christina? I would love to hear your riff on the trendiness of non-monogamy. This is a big one. When men feel the desire to spread their seed means they should have multiple sexual partners, your feelings and honest thoughts. I mean, so yeah, transparently, I've experimented with this. Open relating, polyamory. I have attempted this a few times in the past. And every time, while it was exciting and I learned a lot, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of, inner work and communication dojo, juice there in navigating jealousy and navigating agreements and dynamics and all this. And humans, I think in our ancient past, were naturally polyamorous. We might have multiple partners, we might have kids with multiple people. I think that is very natural on one level. However, in the modern world, in most people's lives, it's probably not going to work. And here's why. I have never seen, with the exception of long-term couples that will bring in another partner, and they're already solid, they're already deep, they've already built it up, I've never seen it work. And so I'm curious for you, have you seen a polyamorous or open relationship dynamic that has worked long-term and created a strong family, community, village dynamic where the man and woman were in sovereignty and in full power? I don't see it. So the trendiness of non-monogamy, I think, Solar Feminine is a reaction, and it's a pushback against years and years and generations, right, of sexual repression and trauma and the taboos around sexuality and dating. So it makes sense that people would be interested in this and pushing in the other pole, right, going down the pendulum the other way to explore the other side. So I think that's healthy as long as you understand what you want. If you want a strong, committed relationship with one person, are you going to achieve that by dating multiple people and opening yourself up to the drama and the trauma that's going to arise from that? Which is nothing wrong with that if you're available for it and committed to moving through it. But for a lot of people, I think they're playing out, a fantasy around it. And the reality is that it is very challenging. It is very difficult to make it work and to make it stick. So that's my opinion on that and my experience. Miriam Mason, can we talk more about creating new patterns in an existent dynamic? Yeah, if you're already in an existing dynamic, right? You're already in a relationship, a long-term relationship, and you need to break up the patterns, right? There's a dynamic that's not working. Well, again, you're going to have to do a couple things. One, you need to be working on yourself. You need to be taking self-responsibility. So that means just because you're in a relationship, you don't give up your dream. You keep building your business. You keep building your art, building your dream, working on yourself. Keep going on the journey of personal development. You can't let that go once you're in a relationship. That's number one. Number two, you're going to need community. So you're going to need a men's circle if you're a man, a group of brothers you can trust and be vulnerable with. And for the woman, she's going to need a women's circle. She's going to need multiple women that she can trust and be vulnerable with. You're not going to be able to get all that done in the dynamic itself, right? You don't want to be the person's therapist. You don't want to be their coach. You don't want to be their teacher. You want to be co-equal and interdependent, not codependent. So that's really where it starts in terms of repatterning there. That's how you start repatterning those dynamics. So really good questions on here, y'all. Keep them coming. Gregory says over on Facebook, I'm actually in a bit of a dating pickle. I'm dating 2 people at one time. I'm okay, but the girl is not. Help. Yeah, I mean, you kind of answered my question, bro. Yeah, I mean, so if you're in a dating pickle, I'm assuming it's not really working. You're dating 2 people, but the girl is not. You're okay, but the girl is not. So who do you want to be with? You got to choose, right? The masculine's got to be decisive and take a choice here. You need to choose, you need to claim, you need to pick. Because if you're going to keep it open with 2 people, neither relationship is going to be able to form into a long-term bond. So that's a conversation you have to have with her. And that's a conversation you're going to have to be radically honest with yourself, again, about what you want to create. Why are you creating that dynamic? A lot of people I see when they open relate, it's because they actually don't want to commit and they're afraid of going deeper, actually afraid of intimacy. So it's great to have sex with multiple people and date multiple people, have fun, that's great. Explore, discover what you like, what you don't like. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you do it with integrity and open communication. But when it comes time to actually, bond deeply, you're not going to be able to do it with multiple people long term, in my experience. Maybe you can if you are practicing this over long periods of time, and again, you have tons of tools and community. So I think it's time to choose. I think it's time to reassess where you're at and what you want in that relationship, right? So I would highly suggest joining our free Facebook group, the Polarity Dojo. It's pinned here in the comments on Facebook. You can join it. It's in my bio here on Instagram. So that would be a great place to start, because there's tons of resources and people answering and asking questions about this stuff. All right, the Circle WA. Do you feel polarity can be balanced afterwards, achieving polarity, or should we keep polarity in our lives? Esther Perel says, the woman that normalizes staying after infidelity. Esther Perel is an amazing thinker and resource on this stuff. And, first off, I'm not sure what you mean. Can polarity be balanced after achieving polarity and always keeping it in our lives? I think you're going to have to always keep it in your life, right? It's a practice. It's a continuing thing. It's not something you just figure out and then it's done, right? You're going to have to continually practice it and commit to it. And it's a dance. It's an art form, just like training your body, just like building a business. It's ongoing. It's a process. So there's a level where it can get balanced and stabilized, right? You want to get to a place where the polarity is stabilized and can be solid and can be committed and explored. But you can't let that go and just say like, all right, we're good. We figured that out. It's gonna keep evolving, especially if you're with someone for a long time. It's gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep changing. It's gonna keep growing. Challenges are gonna come up. New dynamics are gonna come up emotionally, sexually. So you keep going. You keep going, keep practicing it. And for the man, that means cultivating his masculinity, cultivating his direction, his purpose, his commitments, his direction, his containment, his order, For the woman, it's going to be cultivating her intuition, cultivating her feminine radiance, responding and feeling emotions, moving in and out of these dynamics sensually with her embodiment, cultivating chaos or emotional chaos. There's actually a juicy Shakti life force. It's not negative chaos unless you let go of your grounding. And there's a dance. It's going to continue between the man and woman. Continually. It's the same in a same-sex partnership. It's the same if you're non-binary. Someone's going to hold the masculine energy. Someone's going to hold the feminine. That can switch temporarily. But there's going to be a partner that's going to hold it most of the time. And that's why we cultivate it. That's why we practice it. And that's why we continue to practice. We continue to embody. We continue to lean in and love. Our goal, our mission, our service is to love. So in service to that, you have to keep practicing, exploring, unfolding all the parts of you that are not love. Usually fear, right? That's the main thing here, is actually deconditioning yourself and unlearning, because your instincts and your core essence is online underneath the bullshit. Especially up here, you got to get out of the mental layers and open the body and the heart to what you already know, right? You forgot what you knew because society, culture, etc. has unfortunately programmed a lot of that bullshit into us. So that's really the mission here, and the work is to unlayer, unfuck yourself, decondition. And again, in 4 days on September 9th, we're starting Primal Polarity, which is a group program. You can get the application link and the page link here in my bio and check that out. We're inviting in, there's 4 more spots available. So I'd love for that to be someone on this live. You can send me a DM right after this and we can talk about it and get on a call. And yeah, this part about Esther Perel saying that the woman that normalizes staying after infidelity, I mean, this one's tough, right? If there's infidelity or a breach of trust, it can never be the same. And having gone through infidelity myself in a long-term relationship and having supported and coached with a lot of clients who've gone through this, it's really hard to repair trust. It can be done, but it's going to be an ongoing process. You're never going to have the original trust because the partner that felt betrayed, it's always going to be there. So you have your work cut out for you. Not to say you can't be successful in love after a betrayal, but it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to be really radically honest and go through a lot of that healing work. And if the feminine is normalizing it, which I don't know if that's true, the feminine womb and heart really store information. And so if she's felt betrayed and she feels unmet, she is going to have to come back into love, and the masculine is going to have to help her feel safe to do that again. So that's the really tricky part with infidelity, and the work's cut out for both of you, for sure. So keep your questions coming. I see Arena on here. What's up? I see Maya on here. Good to see everybody on here. Ray Kitty Cat says, my ex is going through some anxiety and depression and wants me around to help, but sometimes it's draining and I feel bad saying no and don't know what to do. Should I do this while he's around? I mean, if he's your ex and you're not together anymore, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be his therapist? Do you want to be his coach? Do you want to be his teacher? Is that serving you? I don't know. Maybe you are deeply committed to being friends and being support for one another. And so maybe it makes sense to help him. But if he's going through all that, I'm assuming it's a he really needs support, and he needs someone to hold that space for him. And it probably shouldn't be you. It should be a mentor, an elder, hopefully an older man or a more experienced man, or his group of brothers. Especially if he's going through anxiety or depression, he needs to find support. It needs to be in community. It's not going to be on you to figure all that out or live through all that or process that for him. Let him grow outside of your dynamic, especially if you're separated. So yeah, everyone joining on Facebook, welcome. This is an AMA, ask me anything, type a question in the comments, put it in the question box here. Tasha says, I came on late, what's on the table? Questions are on the table. What's up, Irina? So good to see you. Love seeing you in motherhood, so beautiful. Kaylee in the house. People are saying they've never seen an open dynamic that works long term. That's real. I've never seen one. They can work short term for sure. I don't know about long term though. Lauren on Facebook. Lauren's actually joining Primal Polarity, which is going to be amazing. She asks, how deep does the implementation of polarity go when regarding the feminine body? I.e., the masculine wants to create new life with his beloved, but the feminine doesn't want another child. If his leadership reigns, how do they navigate this? Yeah, so this is a big one. Implementing polarity with the feminine body, I mean, this is a personal journey. And obviously it's in relationship to the masculine. But you have to be the sovereign keeper and steward of your own body, right? Your own temple, your own vessel. So as the woman, if you don't want another child, but your partner does, and you trust his leadership, you need to respond and share with him in real time how you feel about that. What does your body say? What does your womb say? That means you need to have your practices and rituals to cultivate that and connect to yourself, connect to your truth. And then you're going to share that with your partner. You can still trust his leadership while also signaling and responding to him to help him lead you if you're in feminine surrender and feminine embodiment. That doesn't mean you just go along with whatever he's saying or doing if it's not resonant with you. So this is a radically honest dance and dynamic that you're going to have with your masculine partner, right? And I don't know the details. But if your body's saying you don't want another child, trust that. Let him know that. Share your emotion with that. Be vulnerable with that. Tell him. Surrender to your own heart and then communicate that in real time. That's the feminine superpower. Shannon in the house. What's up? What else y'all got? Questions. I dream of Jules. Thoughts on when entering into a relationship, when the male presents his masculine energy as very dominant and sexy, but then falls into a softer feminine energy state when we desire the strong energy. So this is a great question. So often the man, when he's courting you or dating you, will be strong in his masculine. He will be directive and leading, right? He's dominant and sexy, but then later will fall into a softer feminine energy state, which is natural. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you still want the strong energy and you want that to be leading in your dating or relationship life or in the bedroom, again, as the feminine, you need to polarize fully into your feminine state, into your soft, open, receptive, juicy embodiment of your feminine essence, your core, if that's true for you. And then invite him, seduce him, communicate with him that you want that strong energy. You want that powerful ability to come back into that high polarity state. And again, how do you do that? You communicate your emotions in real time. You surrender to his leadership only when it's strong and directed and you feel safe. So help him help you feel safe by communicating your emotions, by doing your own embodiment practices, having sisterhood, encouraging him to have brotherhood, and recreating that dynamic. And if he's in a soft feminine state, that's okay, but just let him know that, you may not be open to connection at that time, or you may need to take space, right? So polarity does require distance as well. And obviously not knowing more information, there's a lot of nuances there. So keep the questions coming, y'all. I'm going to stay on here for maybe 15 more minutes. Miriam asks, if the masculine's doing his work, but you know you are a safe space, but knows you are a safe space, do you assist? You can, yes. It's beautiful to help him if he's doing his work, like support him, nurture him, Share your feminine essence and radiance with him, which is going to inspire him and challenge him to cultivate more of his masculine energy and power. But you can't do the work for him. You don't want to be his mother, right? You don't want to be his mom. You don't want to be his therapist. So you got to get radically honest with yourself around that dynamic. And if it's not working for you and you're finding yourself not attracted or polarized if he's doing his work, again, that's where the community comes in. You got to take a step back, let him know the impact in real time, share with him what is and what is not working. That's what it always comes back to here. Come back to your center. Don't go off center trying to like overreach and go codependent. Come back to your center, charge up, and communicate. This is the whole dance of polarity. Come back to your core essence, communicate, respond, signal as the feminine. As the masculine, come back to your core, fill up your own cup, get your own energy, lead, penetrate. That dance is the most important dance. And again, not knowing more information, there's techniques, there's practices, there's perspectives that would be really useful here. All of these are going to be in our masterclass tomorrow, so you can sign up for that. Head to the Polarity Dojo, our free community, which you can join on here, and claim one of your spots. There's only about 50 left for that free workshop tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Time in the U.S. Really good stuff. Thank you everybody for being here. It's amazing for you to be here, spending time here, and drop your questions because I'm going to go for about 10 more minutes. All right. Forest Fairy, how do we navigate a Dharma and Greg relationship? Yeah, Dharma and Greg, the old sitcom, right? And my understanding of Dharma and Greg is they're kind of like friend zoned, right? I never actually watched the show, but I know that's kind of a thing, right? Dharma and Greg, let's see what I don't even know what the show's about. Despite their opposite personalities, Dharma, a free-spirited yoga instructor, and Greg, a conservative lawyer, get married after their first date. Their contradictory views create comical situations. Yeah, this is classic. Although Dharma, it sounds like she's in her feminine, free-spirited, doing yoga. And then Greg is more in his masculine, conservative, doing law. So the first red flag there is they got married after their first date, so they kind of jumped in before thinking about it. And I imagine they're having polarity issues or they're contradictions of worldview. So if you're in a relationship like that, again, there's going to be nothing better to study than masculine feminine dynamics, evolutionary psychology, attachment styles, maybe some astrology or human design if you're into that. And the love languages, to understand what the needs, wants, and desires are and the consent and boundaries in that relationship. Because if it is like depolarized and you've jumped in too soon to a Dharma and Greg dynamic, the solutions are going to be simple but not easy, which is really, really, really doubling down on there are contradictions, there are differences in energy, right? There's polarity there, but without sovereignty and navigating it in a good way, it obviously can create a lot of issues. And I'm sure the show is all about that, right? Sexuality's got to be at the core, right? Desire's got to be at the core. So I'm sure a lot of Dharma and Greg folks maybe are struggling to keep high polarity or keep the desire going. So not knowing more information and not having watched the show, it's kind of hard to say. Rukia, wholeness, yes. Ray Kitty Cat, off topic of relationships, any suggestions on steering away from addiction? Yeah, this is a big one. I actually first got certified as a coach for addiction recovery many years ago, and it was super valuable to go into that field. And really what addiction is addiction is the opposite of connection. So most people are addicted to a substance, a person, a behavior because they're coping, they're soothing their nervous system. It's a survival response, which is sacred and beautiful, but you're going to need to replace the addiction with connection. And the best practices to replace that are going to be very simple, but not easy. moving your body, exercise, clean diet, personal development practices, meditation, affirmation, visualization, cold water exposure, breath work, fasting, polarity, sexuality work. And then replace it with connection. You need community, you need tribe, you need to be around people that are going to get your needs met and fill you up without feeling the need to go back to the addiction, right? And I have an online course, Flow State Mastery, which is, just $97. You can find it at the link in my bio here, that teach you the top 6 practices to embody and practice this for 21 days to reset your receptors and reset yourself. And I think a lot of people that have gone through that course have actually, found that just by doing these practices, you can overcome most addictions, right? Some are very serious, right? And this is obviously not medical or psychiatric advice. You may need support, you may need therapy, you may need really deeply ingrained work around that. So that's a huge topic. She Livity says it feels challenging to embody the feminine in middle age with a full life. Single mom, adventure sports, finances on lock, but still desiring to make space for the masculine. Thoughts? Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I got this question, I would probably be a millionaire. And a lot of my clients recently have been on this spectrum. Single mothers or fathers who want to get back into the dating market and, cultivate that polarity. So right away in your question, you're revealing a lot. Middle age, single mom. That's a lot. You got to be in your masculine and feminine, right? You're playing mother and father. You're going to do adventure sports, very masculine, but your finances are unlocked. That's great. It's also your masculine. If you want to make space for a masculine in your life, you need to step out of those masculine roles. Obviously, take care of your children, take care of your money. That's sacred. Don't come off your center. But if you want to make space for a man to come into your life and lead and love you, you need to be in your feminine. You need to open up and invite, receive masculine energy and leadership. So if you want to make space for a man, stop being a man. And if you want to be in your feminine and make space for a masculine energy to come in to love you and protect you and provide for you, you need to cultivate your feminine principles and embodiment. Simple, but not easy, again. And there are very real ways to do this. This is what I do in my one-on-one mentorships. This is also what we're going to be doing in Primal Polarity, which is this group program. So if you're watching this live right now, you're feeling this, send me a message. Let's have a conversation offline. It is fascinating how many people and how many folks are just struggling with this, right? Especially in middle age, later in life, where they basically have never kind of practiced relating or never practiced dating intentionally. They just kind of took what they got or were married for many, many, many years, or etc. And then they wake up one day and they realize, oh wow, I need to figure this out because I'm attracting the wrong kinds of partners, right? Or I'm stuck, right? I'm not breaking through the dynamic. So again, you need support. You need women around you that are strong. You need to be in your feminine self-care and rituals. You need to find men or go places to date and meet men where those men are going to be strong, masculine role models, have their brotherhood, have their kingdom on lock, so you can actually come together and co-create, right? This is big. Big stuff. All right, y'all. Last question. I got time for one more question. So if that's you, type it in the comments. And Facebook giving me no love over here. Only 4 viewers, 17,000 followers, but 4 viewers. Thanks, Zuckerberg. I know it's also late in the Western time zones, but so funny, social media these days. Oh well. Keep on and carry on, fam. All right, here we go. Last question. Forest Fairy, the Dharma and Greg, I answered. Hopefully you got that and it feels good. Samaya, hola. Love to hear your thoughts on feminine revealing versus emotionally dumping from a space of, let's say, mistrust or the said wound. Yeah, this is a big nuance of the feminine embodiment energy, is being emotionally revealing and signaling your emotions, signaling your feelings in real time versus dumping, right? So emotionally dumping is going to happen when there is maybe mistrust or a wound and you're out of control. So you just need to offload the emotion, right? Now, if you offload your emotion to a masculine partner who is A, not able to contain it, or B, not available for it, that's going to create potentially a trauma dynamic or codependency. It's going to create a situation where you might have to become your therapist or your father projection, right? So we don't want to do that. If we're revealing in our feminine, that means we're processing our emotions as the feminine being. You're processing them in a responsible way. You're taking self-responsibility for what you're feeling. And then energetically, you're sharing that in real time by signaling, being responsive, being surrendered, crying if you need to, raging if you need to, but doing that in your own space. And then if your masculine partner is available and you have communication and vulnerability in the space and he's able to lead that and hold you in that, that's when you lean in and reveal without dumping on him, without making him wrong, without blaming, shaming, or guilting him in any way. And then you're going to unlock so much power. You're going to unlock so much beauty and love. And I experience this in my own relationship, and I'm just humbled by it when my feminine partner can actually come to me and share her full expression, excuse me, full expression of emotion without making me wrong or making me her healer. Big nuance there. Huge. So I would invite you to experiment with that, to lean in with that, and embody that yourself, then bring it to your partner. Watch what happens. You love to see it. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. All right, y'all. So this is not going to be posted. I'm going to delete this. So if you were here, thanks for being here. This has been amazing. If you're not in the Polarity Dojo, our free Facebook community, it's linked up here on Facebook. It's linked up here on Instagram. Go to the link in my bio and join. It's free. I will post this recording there in the guidebook of AMAs and masterclasses, so you can return to it if you're joining late. So anyone in that group is going to get the best stuff. Laser coaching, group discussions, Q&As around all this stuff. So thank you for being here. Again, Primal Polarity starts in 4 days on the 9th. So if you want one of the last 4 spots, send me a DM now. Thank you so much for being here, everyone on Facebook. Signing off. Everyone over here on Instagram, thank you for being here. Really grateful. Thank you for your time, your support, all your questions. And I'll see you very, very soon.